Well, hello there. How you doing? Welcome back to Wigs and Combat Boots. Or, if you're new here, welcome. This is not the typical setting for one of my normal wig reviews. This is not a wig review, actually. Today I was going to step in a different direction. And if you'd seen my very first video, you would know the reason why I started getting into wigs in the first place. And that's another reason why I am where I am. So I'm reporting to you from my hospital room. I'm still in remission. To review or to give you a little bit of a backstory if you're new here, my name is Teresa. I am here at Wigs and Combat Boots because I discovered I loved wigs due to a medical condition. I developed alopecia, medically induced alopecia, due to cancer. I was diagnosed with diffuse large B-Cell Lymphoma back in August of 2023 is when I actually found out I had cancer in the first place. It took a couple of months to figure out what kind of cancer. Went through RCHOP chemotherapy, where I quickly lost my hair within 2 weeks of starting the chemo. And my last chemo session was at the end of January. And so it is now, as of this recording, about 19 March 2024. So it's been a good 8 weeks since my last chemo session. And I'm back in the hospital, not because the cancer's come back, but as a preventive measure. So due to the numerous locations throughout my body where I had tumors and lymphadenopathy, basically, it was suggested that I look into having methotrexate chemotherapy. Methotrexate chemotherapy is what they would use to bust through the blood-brain barrier. So traditional RCHOP, which is a very aggressive chemotherapy to match the very aggressive diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, it doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier. There's very few things that can. It nukes out the blood like crazy, but it can't cross into the whole central nervous system. And that's where methotrexate comes in. High-dose methotrexate. It'll cross that blood-brain barrier and go into the central nervous system. And in this case, it's meant as a preventive measure to prevent future instances of the diffuse large B-cell lymphoma going into my brain matter. Now, the research on it basically says that it's very gray. There's no, yes, you must do it, and there's no, nah, you shouldn't do it. It's right in the middle, and it really is up to the patient. All the doctors and scientists can do is educate the patient and let the patient decide. And in my case, because of how aggressive my lymphoma was, I chose to take that route because I didn't want to find myself 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, a year, a couple years down the road, find that I have cancer that spread to my brain and not know that I could have done this in the first place. So I'm going to take that chance. I'm fairly healthy. I know I'm fairly healthy, and I want to give this a shot. Just like I took, RCHOP a shot, because I wanted to give it that chance. Nothing wrong with holistic treatments when it comes to aggressive cancers, but I wasn't going to take that chance. For historical purposes, and I think I just touched the mic too, so I apologize for that. For historical purposes, the combat boots portion of the title of my channel has to do with my military background. I first joined the U.S. Navy as a hospital corpsman, so basically I do have a medical background. I'm not a nurse, I'm not a doctor, but we're basically like a medic on steroids. And so I have enough of a background to be dangerous, which is good and bad. And then I continued my medical, not really medical, but medically related career when I transitioned from an enlisted Navy medic to an officer in the Air Force as a medical service corps officer, so administrator, using that clinical background to help relate and further engage clinicians and those who touch patients every single day and try to make our operations better to support them. So here I am in the hospital. I have just concluded my methotrexate treatment. It's a 4-hour treatment. It's a greater than 6,000 micrograms. I'd have to double check, but it's a very high dose of methotrexate, not the traditional for arthritis or other rheumatoid type conditions. What they're going to do now is they're going to spend the next however many days it takes. I think traditionally it takes about 4 days for a patient to flush the methotrexate out from their kidneys. Why it's so important to be in a hospital for this to happen is because you need to have round-the-clock supervision. And what happens is the surveillance that the nurses and techs do is they're constantly taking blood, they're flushing me, there it is, with IV fluids now. It's called leucovorin, and it's basically to protect my kidneys, because what the methotrexate does is it's ridiculously toxic to kidneys, and it will shut them down at a heartbeat, causing a litany of side effects that we don't want. So they're basically now trying to let the methotrexate do its thing with the leucovorin to protect my body, and then flush the methotrexate through now that it's time to do its damage. And so however long it takes my body to flush this all out, with them borderline bolusing this solution, will basically dictate when I get to go home. And it's going to be based on any of those numerous tests that they will be running on me. So if you're curious about methotrexate, this is why I made this video. I went looking for methotrexate chemotherapy videos from patients' perspective, and I couldn't really find any. I found a ton from the doc's point of view, from the nurse's point of view, nurse practitioners, and it was great, very informative, scared the hell out of me, it was awesome. But I didn't have anything from our point of view as a patient, so I thought I'd put this out there. I will make sure that this video will put this description so that those of you who are only interested in the wig portion of my videos know you don't have to watch this, because it's not necessarily wig related. Although, spoiler alert, I'm thinking about doing a couple of wig videos. It's kind of nutty, not sure how they're going to feel about it, don't really care. They're already laughing at me anyways. So I'm thinking about doing that. If you are interested on the cancer portion of my world, my background, please leave a comment. I would love to hear your thoughts on what you think about this. If this is something that brings value to this channel, I can do both things. I mean, it is wigs and combat boots, but it's also the reason why I got to wigs in the first place. And it's the cancer, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm not gonna be one of those people who don't want to talk about it. I don't normally put things like this out there, but you know what? I'm not getting any younger, and it doesn't hurt to get that information out there. And I know there's a ton of information out there, but sometimes, you know what? People deliver in a different way, different strokes for different folks. And I'm gonna throw my 2 cents out there. So again, if you find value in this, let me know. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. If you want to hear more about the cancer journey, or if you want to leave me your thoughts on your cancer journey, what you've been through, and how you could relate, or maybe you can't. We're a family. We've been through this. You know what? We're basically blood family now. Haha, lymphoma, blood family. Anyways, you know what I'm trying to say. Now, if you're also interested in just having wig videos, I wouldn't mind hearing your thoughts too. But I'll be honest with you. If I do cancer videos, I'm going to make sure that it's going to say in the title, so you won't unknowingly click on it, not wanting to watch that kind of material. Cancer is not for everybody. I got that, and I completely understand that. I know up until it affected me personally, it was one of those things where I was like, oof, yeah, it's downer. I don't really want to get into that. And you're right, it is. And that's why I have the wig stuff, because that's not a downer. It's a heck of a lot of fun. It costs a lot of money. My husband has a whole thing he could talk to me about when it comes to that, or talk to you about when it comes to that. But we won't go there right now. We're trying to have some fun, even with this right here going on. So I appreciate you watching. If you are still there watching this video to the very end, thank you so much. And if you're just as nutty as I am, and you want to hear some daily thoughts on craziness like this, and you want to hang out with me, please feel free to subscribe. I would love that. I would love to have a subscriber that can relate to what's going on. And even if you can't relate, you just think I'm a nutty kid, absolutely. And if you think that this particular video was right up your alley, click that thumbs up button, because that really tells me that this hit a note with you, and I appreciate that. Again, don't be shy about those comments. Now, don't be nutty about those comments either, because as a prior military instructor, I will knock those comments out of there in a heartbeat. That's not what this whole channel is about. You want to be a douchebag? Not in this place, not in my house. Alrighty. So I appreciate you being here. I love that you stayed till the end. And please have an awesome day, and even better tomorrow. I'm going to see you in the next video. And we'll talk to you later.